Aces in the circle, dangerous hitters at the plate, the best of the best over the last 2 decades. Welcome back to 11 of the last 20. I'm your host, Chad Landers. Thanks for tuning into our countdown here on Blue Ridge 11. Today, we're heading to the Diamond to see who's the best softball player from our coverage area over the past 20 years. So let's hit the field and see who made our list.
Well, it's a team sport, so you have to be a team player and willing to do whatever it takes to make the team better.
Be a good teammate. That has a lot to do with it. You have to be a good team player. If you're not a team player, all you're going to do is bring everybody else down.
To be a leader, is that a quiet leader or a vocal leader? Either way, it's very important to do that.
It's just attitude. Attitude is the biggest part of it. You got to come there wanting to play, do what you're told, and everything will be fine.
Here's the throw at the plate. She's in safe.
Hey, if you get somebody that can pitch, that's unbelievable. Those kids that have that ability to pitch have all the tools that are there. They're the natural leaders. They have the ability to put the ball in play. They see the game much differently.
And that'll be another strikeout for her.
And then just having the fundamentals to make the plays, to be able to pitch, throw, catch, everything that needs to be done on the field.
And I think that there's a degree of humility. Any one of these players that you got that are part of this top 11, they're humble kids.
And still have fun. You got to have fun. You want to be serious, and everybody knows you want to win. But you still got to try to make it fun.
Number 11, Garden Spot's Alexis Gallagher, 4-year starter as a pitcher for the Spartans.
Alexis Gallagher wasn't a big girl, but she threw hard. She did a great job of changing speeds and really struck out a lot of batters during her career.
And it's right there, called third strike for Gallagher.
Not a big girl, but had a lot of power in her pitches. But then she complemented that with a pretty nice off-speed pitch as well. So those two pitches combined really made her a very nice pitcher. And the thing with her pitches too is they would tail away. So if you're talking about a fastball that's tailing away, that right side of the infield's got to be ready.
Offensively, I remember her as a slap hitter, kind of hitting in gaps.
That one's going to be hammered for a base hit. And Garden Spot has their leadoff batter aboard.
I never coached against her. I got to watch one of her games, and I thought, wow, what a tough out she was if they were able to get her out.
Not a lot of power, but she would just slap the ball, get on base, and then make things happen on the base paths.
As a 4-year starter, she had a great career for Garden Spot.
Number 10, Manheim Central's Samantha Ginder, 4-year starter, 2-time All-State shortstop.
Sam Ginder was a table setter for Manheim Central, leadoff hitter, and she'd get on base and then scored a lot of runs.
Really set the table for Manheim Central at the top of their lineup and got things clicking for them.
And first pitch hitting is Sam Ginder with the base hit.
Probably had the fastest bat and the most power that I saw in my coaching time. I think she ended up with 25 home runs. She had, of course, a lot of raw talent, is probably the best way to describe that.
Here's the throw at the plate. She's in safe.
Defensively, at shortstop, had really nice range, smooth, fluid, strong, accurate arm. And you combine that all together, you got yourself a perfect shortstop.
Would go for every ball. There wasn't a ball that would come by that side of the field that she didn't either dive for or jump for. And somewhere you're like, I don't know how she did that.
And Ginder, with that great arm, throws out Marinkoff without much of a problem.
She never left a game where she wasn't the dirtiest uniform on the field between both teams.
To be a 4-year starter, you've got to be a pretty special athlete. Throw on top of that, as a leadoff hitter, as a freshman, that's something special. You got quite a ball player there. Being the coach's daughter, you're going to be around the game. So she grew up basically learning, living, eating, sleeping softball. And by the time she got to the high school level, you could tell.
It was actually a family affair. My father was one of the assistant coaches. So between the three of us, it was a great time, and those memories you won't ever forget.
Number 9, Conestoga Valley's Courtney Alan, 4-year starter, All-State pitcher for the Lady Buckskins.
Courtney Alan was a great pitcher for Conestoga Valley. First team All-State, did a great job of changing speeds, keeping batters off balance.
Her consistency was her main thing. She was consistent. You knew when I put her on the mound, what I was going to get. Very seldom would I ever have to take her out of a game because she was walking too many or they were hitting too much. She was just that consistent.
She was in the circle, a dominant pitcher, especially her senior year. When you have an ERA under 1, that's impressive, but now you're down to .61. That's pretty incredible.
And that's the inning. Good job by Courtney Alan of getting out of trouble.
Her control was phenomenal. If you put a glove on the outside of the plate, she'd hit it. You put it on the inside, she'd hit it. And like I said, if she'd go 3-0 on you, you can almost count she's going to come back.
As strong as she was as a pitcher, she helped herself offensively as well.
Oh my, that is going to go a long way in this wind.
Good power, average, and again, another athlete that can make a lot of things happen on the diamond.
She got a good chunk of it into the gap, 3-run home run.
Courtney could hit the ball. She knew how to run the bases. It was one of those where you could just count on her. You really didn't have to tell her. She knew what to do.
As good as she was in high school, and she was pretty good, she went to Messiah and just had a dominant career there, led them to the national championship game.
Really nice high school career, but once you go on to the college level, I mean, she was first team All-State in Pennsylvania, but then she goes on to play college softball at Messiah and becomes an All-American. So she took her game in high school and even raised it even higher.
She was just one of those phenomenal players that come along every so often.
Number 8, Warwick's Danielle Jones, two-time All-State third baseman for the Warriors.
Danielle Jones, just another great athlete for Warwick. She had just very competitive between the white lines.
Jonesy's definitely one of the more unique personalities that I've been around. It took me a couple years to really figure her out, and it used to drive me nuts. And the thing that it took me a couple years to realize with Danielle was that's actually how she had to get ready. She had to be so nutty, but the moment that she took the field, that switch was flipped, and you knew that you were getting everything out of that kid from the moment that the first pitch was thrown to the last out being recorded.
I feel bad for all the seniors who lost their final spring season, but you know, Danielle, you talk about a girl who was a two-time All-Star.
Here's Danielle Jones, the cleanup hitter.
She had 96 career hits.
She wraps a base hit into left field.
And easily would have shattered the 100 hit mark if she had gotten to play this season.
She was about 4 hits away for 100 for her career. And I've thought many a time about looking back in old scorebooks and seeing if, in fact, I was a little too harsh on what I may have called an error.
Jones with a drive to deep left. A 2-out double by Danielle Jones.
She was the most positive about this. We were able to get some games in at the Nook this year, and there was one night that we really weren't playing well at all. We were getting ticked, but it still wasn't a matter that the game was that important. But it was important to Jones. And Jonesy pulled the team together, and I think we were limited to 5 runs an inning. And the next 3 innings, we scored 5 runs, 5 runs, and 4 runs. And the other team didn't score after that, and Coach Hess and I looked at each other and just smiled and said, I think Jonesy took care of it.
The countdown's only getting started. Coming up next, we look back at the best softball players from number 7 through number 4. It's all coming up next on 11 of the last 20.